Cosmic Muffin Tactics, Episode 1, Rise of the Pastry Cabal. The day began like any other in the bustling city of Sugartropolis. Street vendors sold caramel apples, kids lined up for free frosting samples, and the smell of freshly baked bread wafted through the air. But this ordinary sweetness concealed a growing darkness, the sinister rise of the pastry cabal. Pad Pie's Bakery, Moonlit Delights, sat on the corner of Cherry Avenue and Creme Brulee Boulevard. Inside, she stirred a cauldron of glowing batter, humming a tune. The doorbell jingled as Onyx strolled in, flipping a coin with her usual swagger. "You better not be experimenting with exploding cupcakes again," Onyx warned, eyeing the scorch marks on the ceiling. Cosmic Muffin Tactics, Episode 1, Rise of the Pastry Cabal. The day began like any other in the bustling city of Sugartropolis. Street vendors sold caramel apples, kids lined up for free frosting samples, and the smell of freshly baked bread wafted through the air. But this ordinary sweetness concealed a growing darkness, the sinister rise of the pastry cabal. Pad Pie's Bakery, Moonlit Delights, sat on the corner of Cherry Avenue and Creme Brulee Boulevard. Inside, she stirred a cauldron of glowing batter, humming a tune. The doorbell jingled as Onyx strolled in, flipping a coin with her usual swagger. "You better not be experimenting with exploding cupcakes again," Onyx warned, eyeing the scorch marks on the ceiling. Entered Simcycle. In her dark apartment, Simcycle sat cross-legged on the floor, her room illuminated by dozens of floating candles. She gazed at her reflection in a mirror, her voice tinged with existential dread. "What am I? A thread in the tapestry of fate? Or merely a knot, tangled and irrelevant?" Her monologue was interrupted by a sudden burst of static. 3453's voice echoed through a glitchy portal that had formed on the mirror. "Stop being weird and meet us at Moonlit Delights." Emergency. Simcycle sighed deeply, but the celestial threads began to weave around her, forming her radiant armor. She grabbed her spear of light and stepped into the portal, assembling the team. By the time Simcycle arrived, the rest of the crew had gathered. Muffin was deep in a debate with Tagline about the optimal muffin-to-butter ratio for combat scenarios. "I'm just saying," Tagline argued, "if your muffins can't explode into glitter, are they even useful?" Muffin adjusted her glasses. "They're not supposed to explode. They're meant to grow into sentient muffin warriors. There's a difference." "Enough," Pad Pie said, silencing them with a commanding whisk wave. "The pastry cabal has gone too far. If we don't stop them, they'll corner the entire dessert market. And destroy half the city doing it," Onyx added, munching on a rock candy shard she'd pulled from her pocket. 3453, perched on the counter, glitched briefly before speaking. "Their base of operations is a flying croissant fortress, orbiting just outside the sprinkle stratosphere. We'll need a plan to get in. The battle begins." With 3453's reality warping abilities, the team teleported to the fortress. It loomed above them, dripping molten butter into the clouds below. Pad Pie, now in full magical girl regalia, led the charge. "Cosmic Crescent Crust," she shouted, hurling glowing pastry shuriken at the croissant guards. They exploded in sugary bursts. Tagline dove into the fray, her fingers a blur as she unleashed her poke of fatalities on a battalion of eclairs. "Omi Wamo! Shindiru!" she roared as they burst into glitter and custard. Onyx summoned a towering golem made entirely of rock candy, its fists smashing through butter cannons. "Let's see how you like a sugar rush," she yelled, clearly enjoying herself. Meanwhile, Simcycle's celestial armor gleamed as she parried attacks from a swarm of sentient cream puffs. "Is this what my threads were woven for?" she mused, vaporizing them with a burst of divine light. Muffin summoned her muffin monstrosities, which stormed the fortress, chomping through walls and enemies alike. "To the Muffinverse and beyond," she cried. The showdown. Deep within the fortress, they faced the leader of the pastry cabal, the malevolent macaroon known as Grand Macaron. His voice boomed as he struck a dramatic JoJo pose. "Fools! You think you can defeat me? My stand, Butter Apocalypse, will render your efforts futile." 3453's stand, 404 file not found, glitched into existence, sparking a reality-warping duel. Butter melted, dimensions folded, and time itself looped chaotically. Quick! Padpie shouted. Combine our powers. In a blinding display of teamwork, Padpie's cosmic muffins, Onyx's candy meteors, Simcycle's divine light, Taitlin's fatal pokes, Surmuffin's muffin army, and 3453's glitches merged into one ultimate attack, the eternal cake overdrive. Grand Macaron's last words echoed dramatically as he exploded into crumbs. Nuo! My empire of sweetness. Epilogue. Back at Moonlit Delights, the team celebrated with hot chocolate and leftover muffins. Think they'll stay down this time? Onyx asked, kicking her feet up on the counter. Probably not, Padpie admitted, smiling. But that's what makes it fun. And so, the Cosmic Muffin Tactics prepared for their next ridiculous adventure, ready to bring justice to a universe that always seemed to be missing dessert.